You're listening to the Tribe Nail Tech podcast, where nail techs find inspiration and motivation to take their career to the next level. We welcome you here. Now tribe up and slay your day. Here is your host, Becky Bunnell.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Tribe Nail Tech podcast. I am your host, Becky Bunnell, and today's episode is sponsored by Sojel Nails. And I have today my amazing friend and guest, Amy Masters. Welcome, Amy.
Hello. I'm so nervous.
Hey, what does it feel like to be on the other side?
I don't like it. I like it, but I don't like it. Yeah. I'm so proud of Becky for doing these podcasts, and so I'm excited of all of your accomplishments that you're doing. So I feel honored that I get to be a part of your tribe.
Thank you. Yes, you are definitely part of my tribe. So let's just start off by you introducing yourself a little bit. Tell us, I know you have this huge bio. You've done so many amazing things. You have a long history. We've both been in the nail industry 26 to 28 years. We're both creeping on 30 years. So we have a big bio. We have a lot that we've done, but try to sum it up in a nutshell and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and so we can get to know you better.
Okay. I'm a mama too. I've been a licensed nail tech for 28 years. And like you, I've helped change laws within our state to benefit the beauty industry. And so those are some highlights of my early years. I've had the big salon, and for 3 years, I've been a solo tech in a little home studio that I absolutely love. Oh my gosh, I'm the host of Tech Talk Live, where weekly I interview, and I've interviewed you.
Mm-hmm.
I interview from magazine editors to everybody in the nail industry or the beauty industry to help connect techs to, their mentors and to companies and get, true education and the knowledge out there. I'm the host of Masters Mindset Mondays, where every Monday I go live with motivation. It ties into a planner that I created this year. That was my goals. I don't even know how to narrow down my whole thing, but that's kind of that I can think of. I'm an independent consultant as well as an international educator with Light Elegance. So I'm all over the place, but I love it. And, we always talk about filling our plate. I filled my plate. I did this. I created this. And even though there's those days I get stressed out, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with all this? And I don't have the time. I created it. And so I'm thankful and feel very blessed to be able to have the career that I do.
Embrace it, right? Because it's a lot of hard work. You've done a lot of things, but you've also not talked about one of the huge accomplishments. You are an inventor also. Tell us about your genre technique that you invented and what's going on with that right now.
Yeah. So, when you've been in the industry for a very long time, we have played with products, because in the very beginning, it was just the hard gel and the acrylic. And as soon as gel polish kind of came out, it was just like, well, how can I use gel polish the way I use acrylic? Or how can I use gel polish the way I use hard gel? And so I know that everybody, if they've been in the industry as long as we have, we've tried this. So I don't know that I'm the true inventor of something, but what happens, I think I'm the first person to voice and put it out there and name it and say, this is an alternative. And it's all natural. There's no primers, 100% gel, using acrylic powder, and it's a layering technique. And so I was fortunate enough to be with Jim McConnell, who's a chemist. And, I was really insecure for many years. I did it in the salon, but I was insecure, like, should I be mixing products, And turns out I should have. And I should have voiced it a long time ago. And Jim picked me up and brought me on with Light Elegance. So we're actually coming up with a genre kit. And so I'm excited to have that. It's a lot. It's an international company. So coming up with MSDS sheets and coming up with marketing and coming up with packaging and coming up with the right formulas, there's so much that goes into it that I'm glad that I teamed up with somebody else who knew what they were doing, because I don't think I would have gave up on it by now, but it wouldn't be to the quality where it is today.
Right. I'm so excited for you and where this is going. We've had a lot of talks behind the scene, Amy and I, about all of this, of how, what should I do? Who should I, like many people have reached out to you and you was patient with it because you were like, do I come out with this kit myself? Other people reached out to you. And so I know that it was a lot of really hard thinking and deciding. And I'm excited for you because I feel like you really made a good choice. So I'm excited to see where this is going to go. Amy and I do a lot of classes together. We have online classes that we do. We have both have our classes up on our websites. We do, oh my word, what was it? Jumpstart Your Nail Business. We both did that class together. We did a 21-day boot camp. We go live on our, we're both admins on Tech Talk Worldwide Facebook group. So if you are a nail tech listening to that, find that group, search that group, and like that group, join that group, because it's an amazing group of women that lift each other up, build each other up. And we're big on education. So that is kind of our topic today too, is what I wanted to talk about in this episode was how education has changed over the years. Us being veteran nail techs, let's talk about that, of how education has evolved over the years, where it's at now, and where we think it's going to be going in the future. So, well, back in the day, we were kind of a lot of self-taught, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's why we played with product, just because we could see, well, wait, if I did this and I did this, then, the result would be this. And so exactly, self-taught, experimenting. If you worked in a salon with other girls that, were like-minded, then you can, kind of network together. But there was not, in the early 90s, there was AOL, and it wasn't, I don't remember when the beauty tech forum started, and that was in a chat room.
Yes, I was on there too.
Yeah. Yes. And that was the first time that like Becky Peters and Steve German and me seeing other mentors. It was also the first time that I learned that there was, because I had Nails Magazine and Nail Pro Magazine, which they're still around today.
Yep.
That was the only way you knew about shows.
Right.
And so when you got the magazine, you were like, okay, can I afford this one? Oh, that one's only next month. I don't have enough time to save up for that one. And you had to travel and you had to do everything. So it was a beauty tech forum that got me more into understanding what shows, what kind of education did I want to get? Did I want to do it more through, like a camp kind of thing? Or did I want to go to a big trade show and see all the different companies? And so it was hard. It was very, very difficult. And the companies weren't accessible like they were today. They didn't have videos. When you called them, you actually had to just talk your way through troubleshooting.
Right.
And not all of them would do that. They didn't have educators on their team. They had an owner of a company that wasn't even a nail tech.
Right.
And that was the hard part.
Yeah. And I remember the only kind of really individual education was the supply stores. So once in a while they would host somebody of a product they carried. And I remember going to a lot of those, to Peerless Beauty Supply, which I don't even think exists anymore, to the C&D classes, things like that. But like you said, we had to travel. We had to look in the back of the Nails and Nail Pro magazines and look for any education. It was pretty much it was so hard. Like, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have all these resources that they have today. So it was really tough. So it was a lot of experimenting. It was trial and error. Back in the day when we started, they only had the cloudy acrylic that was, it was just like,
which was good because it covered a lot of flaws.
Right. And it was just like, plop it on, and then they come out with pink and white. And it was like, wow, pink and white. Wow. And then these amazing tips that weren't these full well tips anymore. They were just, like the fourth of a tip. And then they had the white tips, and we just watched all of it evolve, and it just changes and goes. And, we had the wrap systems, we had the fiberglass that were so popular that aren't really as popular now, but it all comes back around. But it's just so funny watching how it has evolved where we are today. So I feel like a lot more people before they go to school actually are a little bit more educated, because I feel like a lot of people do a lot of research on YouTube and stuff. I'm not going to say YouTube is your answer to go there for everything, but it is a great resource and there's lots of stuff out there. but I know that like the apprentice that I took on this year, my first one this year, she was pretty educated when she came to me. And I was just like, oh, wow. Like she knew how to do the dry manis with the e-files already and all these things because she had watched so many videos, YouTube, and she'd followed reputable people in our industry. But a lot of us put that stuff on YouTube for free, right? And so she was getting knowledgeable, correct information, but you just have to be careful with that because there is a lot of not good information, DIYers, things like that are on YouTube too. So I feel like we need to really be careful with that and warn people. It's like, make sure you're following a reputable company or nail artist, someone that is licensed, an educator. I can't stress that enough. What's your opinions on the YouTubing?
Sanitation. They're not getting, when we're in school, that's one of the main things that we learn is sanitation. It's also the thing that we're like, oh, this is wasting my time. I don't need to know about sanitation. Just teach me the nails. But really what's happening, I think the biggest thing between DIY and pros is the sanitation side of it. Proper techniques, not flooding the cuticles, understanding the primers and the monomers and the lamps, understanding that there really is a lot more into it. That you might be able to get a quick fix of what you want, but for the long-term care and integrity of the natural nail, you need to do it right. And sanitation is one of the biggest things in there.
Huge. Yeah. And like you said, they're not really learning that on there. There might be some, but, just be careful and cautious with that. And so nowadays, oh my gosh, how much has the internet changed? Like our industry is huge. I know for you and I, our online classes, we've taught people all around the world, the UK, Australia. I can't even, my mind is blown the people that take our classes. I am like, we could have never reached those people without today's technology and the internet. What a blessing that is. Like, that's just mind blowing to me in a sense.
You know what I find, Becky, is that a lot of people that have been in the industry as long as we have, we've worked. We just worked. That's what we did. We perfected our skills in what we did. We built up the big salons. We were team players with our girls. We educated in our salon. And, like early on, I started traveling around and teaching at other schools and salons and stuff like that. But we worked. We never thought that we'd ever be with a company. I never did, at least. It wasn't until a few years ago that I started looking at it a little bit differently. Now, I did used to, in the very early 90s, I'm going to date myself way back, I worked for Intermountain Beauty Supply. And the reason why is because they were the only ones that would bring in educators from companies and they would put on those classes. And I wanted to be a part of every single one of those. Well, I knew working at the beauty supply, not only would I get a discount on the products, I could go around to the other salons and kind of see what they were doing so that I knew what my competition was doing. I call it the Reebok walk because at the time I wore Reeboks and heels. And so I knew what the other salons were doing, but I got to sit in all the education classes for free. Intermountain Beauty Supply is not around anymore, not because of me, just because they shut down, bigger chains come in and stuff. But I didn't realize that the end of my career would kind of end the same way that I began it. And it was based around truly understanding what other salons are doing, what kind of education is needed out there, and pushing my way through there to be able to share that out there. And so when social media came around, I was scared of it. Because you don't know who's on the other end watching you. I don't know who's listening to that. You don't know
see their face. You can't see their reaction. You can't see their face. It's like that can be good and that can be bad.
Yeah. So I just be me, and I teach the experiences that I've had. And like you have been to many, many classes and learned about all these different products. And I didn't realize I'm going to be honest with you. 2 years ago, I put a post up in our group and actually many other groups. It was, in hindsight, I should never have done it. And I said, if I was a fairy godmother and I had a magic wand and that you could learn anything, specialize in anything, what would it be? And it went viral. And I couldn't keep up with all the comments, but I learned the majority of the things that people wanted to learn had nothing to do with nail technique. They felt like they could get that education anywhere, had nothing to do with sanitation, had nothing to do with the business. They're like, how do you get the confidence that you have? And I thought, I don't have the confidence. And then I realized I could answer all of their questions. I really did have enough experiences, enough knowledge and resources to refer them to the company saying, you know what, ask this company this, get a hold of this person at this company. And then the other thing with that is I was able to truly answer the question in detail and not just throw out. And I think that's part about being independent, as I didn't have to promote a certain product line. Mm-hmm. I could answer truthfully what I did in my salon. And so that made it kind of fun too. But I didn't realize until I put that post out there that people saw me as an expert in the industry. Yeah. I had no clue that I was there. I was like, no, I'm still learning too. I'm still getting my education. I'm still going to all of these shows and learning the same way. But it's because my entire career, like you, we've put education as a priority. Yes. And that's what's so important about this to continue on to be successful, is to get out of your own head and get into into another's. And if there's a product that you really like, get a hold of the company and say, I want more education on this. And you'll be surprised. They might bring you on as an ambassador. They might bring you on as an influencer or an educator or part of their team in some way. It's amazing the opportunities that are out there because of social media that we didn't have before. But you have to be willing to go live. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. And that was probably my most difficult, is as much as they were seeking confidence, I didn't have it myself. And that was one of them I didn't know how to answer, because I didn't know, does confidence come from within or does it come from other people? And I learned it's a combo. It
is a combo, and it's just doing. I think that's the biggest thing, is to build your confidence, is do the thing that scares you to death.
Yes.
Fear is a liar. And I'm learning that more and more and more. We are scared to death of the unknown and doing these things that are new to us. And once we do it for the first time, then we sit back and we go, wow, oh, that wasn't that bad. That was kind of fun. I can do this. And it's just, I've grown a lot in the last 2 years. And I can say last year for 2019, my word of the year was fearless, be fearless. And I made it an intention for that year. My notebook was everything I was going to do to fear less and to be fearless. And I set goals, I set intentions, and I checked off that list. I went skydiving in December. That was my grand finale. And I'm not kidding you. Did my life ever change? Did last year change for me? It did. And it's all about just stepping into that, doing what scares you anyways, and you gain confidence every time you do that. And we know that. We know every time we do a class, every time we go live, it builds us up, it fills our cup and makes us more confident. And we build the trust of others around us, and they start seeing us as an expert in our industry. And it just keeps building because we gain that confidence. We get higher up the ladder. We become educators. We become, mentors. People look up to us. We're an expert in our industry, and it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's the biggest thing we can tell people too, is one, get educated. Never stop getting education. It's the most important thing I can tell you about this career. I feel like education is the key to set you apart from anyone else. And, you might be like, I'm doing everything to try to build a clientele and I can't get these people back. What am I doing? People ask us questions. Well, what else can I do to get clients? But sometimes they're doing all those things that they should be doing that should gain them a clientele. But maybe we need to step back and look at their work and be like, are you where you need to be with your nail services?
Yes.
Because people aren't going to come back if we're not putting out quality work. You might be a wonderful, awesome person and you make everybody feel good when they come in, but education. And I hear excuse after excuse after excuse. I don't have the money. I can't travel. My kids, my this, my that. It doesn't work for me. Excuses don't work for me. If you want to learn and be better and be the best in your trade, there is no excuse for not getting an education. Number one, online. Tell them about how our online classes work. Like we kind of were innovators in this. There wasn't very many online classes and we stepped out of the box and we were I'm not saying we're the only ones that do this. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying we are the only ones that do this. There are many people that have done online classes, but we didn't know how to do it. Nobody taught us how to do it. We didn't know what to do. And we just started, again, fear. We broke through the fear, started, didn't know how it was going to go and didn't know how to be perfect at it, but we just started. And then what happened?
Yeah. And likewise, people think we have this huge setup of, photography and all of that. Nope. It's my cell phone.
On a stand.
It was rubber banded to my overhead light. Now I have a holder that cost me $16.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that I use all these years later. And so, for me, and so we were admin of the same group. And so, one of the things is that we were doing live tutorials for free on how to do certain nail art or shape structure, how to hold a file, how to e-file and all of that. And we were offering it for free. And man, when we we learned more about Facebook and we could create an event where people knew when we were going live. And then, oh my gosh, we'd look on the screen and we'd have over 100 people, joining us live. Mm-hmm. And they're asking questions and you couldn't keep up with it because you're trying to do a tutorial. And so we learned that if there was a way that we could structure this where they could learn each section, then let's do that. So I remember us talking like, what are the top things that people ask for? And sometimes it's tip applications, sometimes it's form applications, sometimes it was the baby boomer or the ombre book. And so we're like, let's do these in individual videos so that when people ask the question, instead of us explaining it every time, we're going to refer to that video. So like mine are on YouTube and I can tag that over as a comment and answer those questions. And so it kept evolving from there to where it was like, then you get people going, how much does it cost for your classes? And I thought, gosh, I haven't been doing classes, like when I moved to become a solo tech 3 years ago, my husband and I moved to the base of the mountains. I live in a town of 600. And I thought, I never really thought, since I didn't have the salon anymore, and in my mind, that kind of went away. And so the only way I could do it was online. And so taking and structuring, coming up with a curriculum, figuring out how to do this in private Facebook groups and through the websites and stuff like that was like, wait a minute. So I turned my business name into my online name. And it was one of those that, I don't know, I wanted to bring on more educators. And through Tech Talk Lives, I've met other educators and you and stuff. And I was like, how can we bring everybody together to have their classes advertised in one forum? We're all set up and structured the same. So no matter who gets into what class, it's a certified class. They learn the intro. It's interactive so that they can really talk to the educator just like it would be in person, but better because they can watch it on replay. Then those wheels turned. I remember us working together through the process of all that. And then Facebook changed. And then we were like, we had to start all over again. But it ended up benefiting us because it also developed the units section. And that was the game changer. So then I changed my website from my business name to the nailsource.biz because I'm bringing in a forum of educators together that all teach the same. We're all independent, but we've all actually taught. So these aren't people just on YouTube that are sharing their experiences. We've actually gone through additional training and take it very, very serious from sanitation all the way through. That is where we are today. And I love it. Last year was very profitable and it was so worth the time that it actually pulled me away from the desk a little bit. And I get to concentrate more on that because we only have 24 hours in a day and we have to sleep part of that. So where's your vision for where you want to be? Because if I stayed just doing nails, my career would never have changed.
Right.
If I just doing the same thing. I love where it is today. I'm more energized today than I have been my entire 28 years as a nail tech.
I totally agree. And that's what I love about about being a nail tech and being in the nail industry. There's so many different avenues. You can sell things. I have the tribe wear, the nail tech tribe wear that I sell. We have our online classes. I can teach, I can apprentice, I can do all these things. And that's for me what I needed. So I didn't get that burnout. And so I love that it just takes us in so many different directions. And I love that we have the online classes that people can take them. That's what's so nice about it. You register for those. We usually put you on a private Facebook page, and you can watch that whenever you want to. So if it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, when you've got a sick kid or whatever, it's like, then that's it's right there at your fingertips. You can watch that whenever you need to. Plus, you can go back and watch it how many more times, so there's never an excuse not to get educated. And I love where we're at. I love the things we're doing. And real quick, where do you think that the future is going to go? Like, how do you think things are going to change? It's crazy to think about that now, of how far it's come. Mm-hmm. How is it going to change?
So first of all, I want to back up a little bit. You need to talk about education. There's so many ways to get it. You and I have been nail stars on a cruise ship.
Cruise ship, yeah.
We've been in Atlanta you've been to a couple more camps than I have, at these big, huge resorts that are phenomenal. They call it glamping, I guess. And we've taught there. We've taught at trade shows. We've taught in salon. We've taught in other people's salon. We've taught in the lobby of a motel. And so, right now that's where it's at, is all of these nail camps, these cruises, online. But here's what's happening. It's because of the DIY world. There's a lot of people that are having a lot of really bad reactions. And because of nail techs getting licensed and not paying attention to true, proper sanitation and technique, the nail world is somewhat getting a little bad rap right now. But what's allowing us to rise up is that we give proper, detailed, true, ongoing education, and then we're interactive with them. Right. We see them through to success. And I think what's going to happen with the future is you're going to see a lot more of what we're doing. I have educators bundles, and yesterday I even sold one where other educators are like, you know what, I like what you guys are doing on this forum, and I want to be a part of that. It allows the cost of the classes to be less because you don't have the travel expenses and stuff. So I think it is going to be a lot online. I think a lot of them are pulling away from some of the shows because even I know, with the companies that I work with, it is so expensive to have a booth at a show. And then you have your whole team of educators there educating all the products. I mean, it comes in crates. It's enormous. But yet they can offer that same type of education. Now, I do believe hands-on classes are always better. We record our hands-on classes and offer it in person and online, and then put those people in person back into that so they can rewatch the videos.
Right.
I really think that what we're doing, Becky, is truly where the industry is going to go. I think it's going to be online. I think it's going to be a lot more of meeting with the educators at their academies, like what you just opened up and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to go back to the quality that it used to be and getting away from a lot of the myths that are out there and some of the stuff that's happening with product lines. So I think it's going to go back to the nail techs taking over and bringing out true quality, and the manufacturer companies are going back to, doing things a little bit more natural, getting away from some of the resins and some of the, the harsher chemicals. It really is making a difference. It's amazing working with chemists, seeing the process that they're going through to try to pull out some of the ingredients and realize that we never needed it to begin with. Yeah. Some of them are a fragrance. We didn't need it. Yeah.
In Utah's just barely, they sent out an email for our licensing that now every acrylic nail tech has to have an extractor at has to be a certain qualification at their nail desk, each acrylic tech, to extract fumes and the dust. So they're finding more things about some of these products that are in the nail industry, and we're moving in a healthier direction. So that is another reason why you need to be educated and learn about these other products that are odorless and things like that, because it's really important, and it's important for your clients' health and your own health, so you can stay in the industry longer. It's really important to keep up on the education. So I think we've just, it's kind of crazy. We've talked about this before. It's like these big people in the industry that we've looked up to have been like, oh my gosh, look at them. And they're reaching out to us saying, we want to be a part of what you're doing. What are you guys doing and how you doing it? So I love that we've been innovators in some of this in the nail industry. I'm not saying we created all this stuff. I'm just saying we went with our guts. We didn't know how to do it. Nobody told us or taught us how to do it. And we just went for it, and it's working and we're loving it. And it's the thanks to all of everyone out there, all you nail techs that are listening, that are supporting us, and you fill our cups every day. And I love being an educator in this industry. And I know you do too. We love teaching. We love mentoring. And it's just what makes us who we are. And we love it. And I'm so excited to see the future of the industry, and so happy that you joined me today.
Thanks, Becky. I feel honored. Like, I know that we're friends, and, I'm getting ready to come see you actually in just a few weeks to do our 6th certification class. But another thing, I guess, if I could suggest, is that for years, because I was the owner of the salon and I was the one that had the most education, I was always the teacher. And sometimes we have to stop and be the listener, and when I go to other classes, I'm definitely the listener. I'm not the ego one, like, oh, I do this in my salon. I've never been that way. And so the main thing, though, I think that's helped advance my career is teaming up. And so, the girls in my salon, we all work together every month. Everybody, there would always be one that was in charge of that month, and they would show us a new nail art or revisit something that maybe we forgot. And we work together as a team. And I really miss that. But I don't have that anymore. And so online is where I found my team, and you and I met online. Right. It's like online dating, and we're a good fit. We're a match. And so what's fun about that is that when you team up with somebody who's like-minded like you always bounce things back and forth off of each other, and you continue to build the tribe, and you continue to build your education and your energy wrapped around something like, hey, I have an idea. What do you think? And the honesty that we have with each other to say, I don't know about that. That's kind of far-fetched. And yet the celebration that we have for each other of like, yes, let's do that. And then we're, on another path. And so I think it's important to team up with somebody. And so if you haven't been able to find somebody in your area, you can find them online.
You can. Absolutely. And that's what this podcast is all about. And my movement behind the Tribe Nail Tech, that's why I started my clothing line, is also because I want to build a tribe of like-minded people that support each other, people that want to see each other rise. It's so important to find your tribe, guys. And if you haven't found them yet, keep searching, reach out to us, get on the Tech Talk Worldwide Facebook group, and you can be a part of our tribe, because that's what it's all about, is building a group of people that are like-minded, that support each other, that want each other to become better. And when we do this as an industry, we all rise. We rise together. We're a stronger community. People will take us seriously. We won't be the nail tech in the corner. We will make awesome wages. We can charge more. Our worth goes up when we all get educated, and that's what you and I want. And let's do that. Let's build our tribe and be successful, and not be the the redheaded stepsister in the corner, the nail tech over there in the corner. You know what I'm saying? We deserve those good wages. We deserve to be respected in our industry.
Isn't it amazing that in our group, how many people are like, okay, I did it. I raised my prices. Because we talk a lot about, I hate the word of charge what you're worth, because you're worth a lot more. We don't always get to charge what we're worth. Right. But the confidence that they have in their work, that they have, that they can raise their prices, and how to do the process. Right. And oh my gosh, that is probably one of the things that I love the most. Not only the skills that they get to learn in our group, but when they message me and say, I'm profitable this year, Amy, and it's because of the knowledge that I got from you guys. Yeah. That is mind-blowing, that what we're sharing is allowing them to be more profitable.
Exactly.
It's not, and sometimes it's not changing their technique. It's not changing their business. Their salon setup's good and organized. It was changing their mindset that they were worth it. And that is probably, as you can tell, that's probably one of my most favorite messages that I get, is something like that.
Yep. I love it. And I love you. And I'm so glad you're here today. Tell everybody where they can find you. Share your links and where they can find you. Where can they find their classes so that they can follow you? we've got so many classes coming up, but if they go to our websites or go to our pages, they can find out all the details. Click on the events, look at the detail section. It tells you everything. Please go check us out. So Amy, where can they find you?
The main ones that I'm active on is going to be the nailsource.biz, which is our website, which is where all the workshops are, our bios, and get into contact with each one of the educators that it's part of that. Other than that, I'm basically on Facebook, and I do tell people, don't just tag me on a post. You are more than welcome to get on Messenger and message me through Facebook. And I'm on there as Amy Masters. I'm on there as the Nail Source. And then on YouTube, it's the YouTube /C/ Amy Masters. And you'll see some of the tech talks on there. Lots of tutorials that, I've released, actually just some that I did a couple of years ago. And so those are probably the main ones to get a hold of me on.
Yes. Awesome. So Amy Masters, nailsource.biz. You can find my website at nailteched.com. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Nailed by Becky Bunnell. Check out the classes that we have coming up, everything. We want to get to know you better. Go to Tech Talk Worldwide and join that group. We would love to meet you and see you on there. And I think the only last thing there is to do is to say what we always say on the end of all our live videos that you and I do together. And I've got to remember to make that a slogan for this Tribe Nail Tech podcast and say it at the end of it. I can't forget that because it's important. So are you ready?
No, not yet.
Oh.
One more second. So for you techs that are out there, if you want to be a part of something that is free and is very much has a lot of value to it, Becky and I did Jumpstart Your Nail Business, which turned into another small $29 investment of Refresher Y, which turned into a 21-day boot camp, which is actually a lot longer. We teach you for 21 days, and we actually are having another one March 1st. It's released, actually, a Vivify Your Nail Business. And we go into a lot of detail, even on both of how we got our inventions going, how we became educators, how we set up our Facebook pages. It is huge. And so we're starting that on March 1st. And so what happened is when we started Jumpstart Your Nail Business, this saying came up in there, and then we started ending everything with it. And so even in the Vivify Your Nail Business, we did it too. And so now I'm ready.
Now we're ready. 3, 2, 1. Try up and slay your day. Thank you, Amy. I am so happy you were here today. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And I hope you catch me on the next episode of Tribe Nail Tech Podcast. Thank you.